Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I've just heard Sebastian Bach recently for the first time, and his voice is striking. I simply must hear more of his work. So, today we're going to check out one of your most requested songs. Let's get to it. His voice just feels like it's limitless. It truly astonishing. It's amazing how much ground he covered in just his opening phrase. We're going to go back to the beginning. There were a few other things in there I wanted to point out that I really appreciated. So, all the way back to 000. This initial part feels so packed with dread and doom. It's very dark. It's also very low, hence a little more feeling of doom. But then it switches up to an octave higher. I was really interested in the way that they brought it up higher. Normally, we'll start out a little bit higher and then drop down so that more doom is incoming. Instead, it almost felt like there was hope that was being brought into this instrumental intro. The breath in there is chilling. It feels sobering. It feels almost like a yell or cry of mourning in the guitar there. It's just ridiculous. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It is mind-blowing how much he goes through in just a couple of seconds. So, very, very strong intro here with Ricky, right? And one of the things that's so impressive to me there is the way he elides, essentially goes over what might have been a comma. Let's see, is it a comma? Ricky was a young boy. At the next line, he had a heart of stone. So two different ideas. He combines them masterfully here. I know this sounds like such a silly thing, but it's enormous. That boy, and he slides down into he had a heart of stone. Wow. I really like the way that it's clean on top, and then when he comes down into he had a heart of stone, it almost feels like there's a bit of a shiver in his voice, and he brings in just a tiny bit of distortion as well. Some people find it more challenging to bring distortion in higher. Some people find it more challenging to bring distortion in lower. And I don't think that he has challenges anywhere for bringing in distortion. The way he just kicks it into gear partway through the phrase, I think, is what gets me so much there. A lot of times people, if they're going to have a really high energy, high impact moment, they need to start the phrase with that. It's like the whole system needs to be ready for it. So to have a little bit of that phrase be held back and then just balls to the wall, go for it, that is hard. That means that he's prepared for that moment, but he's like nursing it just a bit before it actually hits. Let's listen to that one more time. Right there. The expansion is just amazing. It's amazing the way he's able to really vary the amount of distortion that he's bringing in as well. This is one of the things that I'm actively studying is how do singers create distortion like this? We're primarily studying it in purely harsh vocalists, rather than how you would add distortion on top of a pitch like Sebastian Bach is doing here. But it is something that is applied to any type of distortion in any vocal, even just having a reading voice that has some grit on it. This is going to be applied very, very widely. And our singers definitely are also singing and having distortion at times, rather than just pure distortion in the sound too. So it's very, very interesting. And I can tell you that the research that we have only just begun is it is the most thorough that will ever be done to date. Hopefully, there'll be a lot more after this. I was really surprised when I suddenly realized we were in the chorus. I didn't know that it had come and hit until I heard the words 18 in life. I was like, "Whoa, we are there." And then it had a drive and a heaviness to it, a catchiness at the same time. I'm going to go back and try and catch that whole thing. But the whole songwriting has taken me in to the point where I wasn't keeping track of what parts we were in. We were just suddenly there. We had arrived. Yeah, it's right there. That was a pretty good rollback to that spot. It does really just drive immediately into the chorus. Mm. It's the way it turns into the chorus, I think, is fabulous. Uh, it has a feeling of almost a fatalistic feeling as it's going into it. Like this is where it was going the whole time, and I think that matches really well with the story. This idea that like it's this kid is doomed. Yeah, 18 adult, but still in my mind, that still feels very much like a kid, and the yeah rough life. Not to say that rough lives are going to necessarily end badly. I think there are many rough lives that switch and have incredible, incredible stories, and many people that fight tooth and nail to just continue to have a normal life after they've had a rough one and treasure that as well. But definitely in the story and the music, the way it's driving, it gets this sense that it was almost inevitable. This transition into the chorus drives that home. The phrasings throughout the chorus made it more catchy. A lot of the note choices had a little more repetition in it. It starts to feel a little bit hooky. But the part that I liked the most was the end of the chorus. The way that he has he has a certain edge to his voice throughout it. And then in the last note, he suddenly takes this phrase that has had edge and drive and a certain metallic nature. And then he takes it and he makes it suddenly very tender. It's like suddenly caresses this phrase without taking a breath. It's like he flips to the other side of a coin. I'm going to go back, see if we can catch that moment again. That's right there. That takes so much vocal control. One of the hardest things to learn how to do really well is hairpin dynamics. I mean, like hairpins like this. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that. It was right in front of my face here. Hairpins almost like this. Some people call them bird beaks. And basically means start really soft, get really loud, and then get really soft. And do that over a long period of time. Try not to waver in your pitch or tone quality. If you can do that, especially if you're able to do it for over, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that is impressive. That has a lot of control. And to hear him go from this powerful, driving metallic bite to sudden tenderness, and then move down in the pitches as well, and feel like he's just almost caressing the phrase. That's such beautiful vocal control. Especially there at the end, I'm like, yum. It's shocking how well he's getting his consonants out here too. Side note, I've been learning more about Sebastian Bach. I'm very interested in his career. And I've been learning more about him, and it seems like he's just done a huge range of work. I mean, had on TV at one point, done musical theater. I think he just had a solo album come out. There's a ton of stuff that he's done. It's really surprising to me. I'm very curious about how he's negotiated this incredible career path. I wanted to hear some more of his older work first, but eventually I'm hoping to get into some new stuff and really see that trajectory. Because with a voice like this, I listen to it and I say, well, he can literally do anything he wants to with his voice. Anything. He has massive control, massive talent. It seems like, if I just look at his career path, it seems like he's been very dedicated to his work, meaning that he puts the work in, like he goes to it and doesn't just rely on talent, so he's not as likely to just totally fizzle, right? So I'm really curious how that shapes his artistry today and all of the different chapters in between. I'm gonna go back a little bit here. There's some interesting vocal things I want to get to. So a lot of it that I'm hearing in here, other than amazing vocal expression, I think a lot of it is coming from the way he takes his breaths. His breaths feel urgent, but not closed. A lot of times when people have an urgent breath, they make a sound like, they'll make a gasp. And that gasp is created by narrowing the vocal tract as the air is coming through. That actually reduces the amount of air you can take in. If you're taking an urgent breath for a phrase you're about to sing, it's in this gulp, and it feels like there's a sucking of air, but it often happens a little more quickly than you would hear in a gasp. Oh, let's go back one, because that's right where it was. The way he took that urgent breath and just dove back into the sound there is fabulous. That urgency is amazing. what's with guys and keeping guns in their pants? I just I don't understand it. It feels like a very dangerous position. That's sobering. I, I if there is one fault I find in his voice, is that he is consistently so extraordinary. I feel like my ears are actually becoming dulled because I'm so used to hearing amazing from him at this point. Wow, what a weird compliment slash criticism. Right. I'm curious. Especially as people get older, a lot of times you tend to see in their careers a certain a return to simplicity at various times. This feels like it is just a young, blazing artist that is like, I am going to seize the world with my voice, which he's doing extremely well. It is wowing. What happens when this artist puts on just all of the life experience, and what happens then? I'm curious. Does that make the art form go a little bit simpler for a moment? I'm not sure. I'm really, really curious, though, obviously. Like, that is hard, and it's amazing, and I'm almost like, yeah, well, of course he did it. He's just that amazing. Gosh, even the way that he's holding out that big long line, and then it's like, I still have more. I'm gonna just jump up a little higher at the end. Like, usually people are out of gas by that point, and he had enough to rev it up to an extra higher pitch. Jeez, it's ridiculous. Here. Okay, that took it up to the next level. Wow, that jump. Wow. And he didn't even flip over into falsetto there. Wow. Gosh, he's a great singer. I'm gonna go back. I was gonna comment on the distortion and the way he's able to bring it in and out, and there was a great section. I'll go back just a little bit more about. There's a great section where he's really clearly using different, it's like sprinkles of gravel. Like, how much gravel do you want? It's like when you get a cupcake, like, how much sprinkles do you want? Are you a person that just wants that cream cheese icing on top, or do you need like lots of the like little log sprinkles, or do you need lots of like the little tiny BB sprinkles? Like, what kind of sprinkles do you like? He is one of those people that is consistently giving me a cupcake with so many different sprinkle options. I feel like very, very satisfied by the sweet deliciousness of sprinkles. Right here. So much grit. And back to clean there. And then that. Ugh. My face physically, like, and it's not just this part of my face, I guess my inner face, my inside my vocal tract, especially my soft palate, when it goes up to that top note, I feel a stretch inside that's like, oh, I'd have to have like that kind of position to get to that note. Holy crap. It makes me do things inside of my throat involuntarily. And that sounds weird, right? And it could be taken out of context. But the whole point is, it's so insane what he's doing. I think most people, in order to get there, have to use insane amount of work. And he just nails it. It seems easy. Oh. Yeah. Like, oh, my soft palate's way up there in response. Interesting. Gosh. Ooh. Really interesting choice there as the voice is coming back in. It just comes back on the right at first and then recenters. Really, really a fun choice. It almost feels like it's coming back into focus. Nice guitar journey too. I think one of the reasons I love the way he's bringing distortion in and out is that it seems to really match with the flow of emotion that comes with this idea of 18 in life, this just very sobering story overall. It has it inspires waves of different kinds of emotions. Sometimes I feel sadness or grief, and sometimes I feel anger, frustration, disappointment. Like, there's so many different emotions that come in. And I think that voices are able to express all of these different kinds of emotions. One of the ways to get into some of those harder emotions is to bring grit into the sound, to bring gravel, to bring those sprinkles of distortion. I think that his ebbing and flowing of distortion perfectly mirrors the ebbing and flowing of emotion. Wow. He's alien. That's the only possible explanation. No, don't be over yet. Wow. Wow. Such a beautiful natural vibrato, too. Gosh. This is an incredible song. I like the songwriting elements of it, the drive and grief in it at the same time. I also think that the vocal execution is just perfection. And I'm really excited to hear more from both Skid Row and Sebastian Bach. So please sound off in comments below what you would recommend. And in the meantime, check out this playlist over here for some more analysis. May you fall more in love with music every day. Mwah!